Most of us would like to do something great with our lives.
The greatest thing we can share is the gift of knowledge.
That's why we're excited for you to join our first episode of Come Hang Out with the Bassettes.
It'll be full of fun, family, tips about education, health, and much, much more.
If you enjoy these topics, please subscribe to our YouTube channel.
As well as follow us on our other social media pages.
Let's all be part of the solution.
We hope you enjoy this show.
Yeah, you can have more seasoning.
Okay, so let me taste it. So you can hold on to your spoon. Don't lose your spoon. Let's see. Yeah, I think it's bland.
Yeah, I didn't taste anything. No, when you said bland, I don't mean I don't taste anything. I tasted the blandness of it, but I know it's going to get better with some more seasoning. Work yourself in. Work yourself in there. You want honesty when somebody's cooking, right? I've been with her 30.
He did not make that better.
How many years?
I don't
30. At least 37.
I don't know, but you were tasting the blandness. Okay.
Okay, so we'll get it right. I want to let people know if people want to say. I said we've been together since 1983. So 1983
the summer,
to 2000.
The summer of 1983.
The summer of 1983, we were in college, and she followed me home that day. Right?
No.
That's not the truth?
No.
Well,
You stalked me. You stalked me, and you followed me home.
Stalked you?
And then you continued to show up daily.
No, I walked you home. I didn't stalk her home. I walked her home.
You walked me home, and then you just magically showed up every day afterward.
To see if you want to study.
You did not ask me.
I did.
You weren't asking me to study. You were taking my roommate out for ice cream
Okay.
every evening.
So I must have liked your roommate if I was taking her out.
That's what I thought.
Yeah. So how did I take your roommate out and wind up with you? That's the secret, man. If you want to know, it was a genius thing. Again, my name is E.J. Edge Bassette, and we have next to
Donna
me.
Lady D. Bassetti.
Okay, and again, we're a couple. When we say a couple, is that the right way to say it? Are we a couple? Or we're married?
I think you're still a couple when you marry, right?
Okay.
Two of us.
So we're a couple and we're married, but we're also authors of books, and we have 6 books that we're either published or we're publishing. So we want to explore. A lot of people talk about being authors, and people want to know how do you get into being an author, and just what are your books about. So the first book and the mainstay that I like to share is Silent Cry. Right?
Why did you write Silent Cry?
That's a good question. Why did I write Silent Cry? Silent Cry is a true story. That's the first thing. It's an autobiography, but it depicts my life and 2 of my best friends, and that's what it's centered around. So the title is Silent Cry, and the subtitle is Ray, Deke, and Me. And then it goes into explaining something that's going on in the world, but in the African American community as a issue and a problem. The key to stopping the violence.
Yeah, it's been there for some time, and unfortunately it's still there today.
Right.
It's still very. It is about two twins. It's called Dawson Twins by Way of Egypt. And my book is a time travel book where two twins go back into ancient Egypt and they discover things. And the reason I wrote this book, and it'll be a series, the reason I wrote this book is because I was struggling with my children having books about the continent of Africa and about anything that's African related, so that they would have something that they could enjoy and it wouldn't read like a periodical. We are here with Mrs. B, Bassette, Lady D, and Nurse Dina, aka Dina Pina, in my mind. And we're going to be talking about her journey to becoming a nurse practitioner, because you just graduated as a nurse practitioner. And how does it feel to have that journey and then, you know, just say, I did it?
I'm so glad that it's over because it was a lot going on. It was, you know, the pandemic started around what, December, January
Last year.
Yeah, about December of 2019, and then things kind of picked up. So I was working full time. I was pregnant. I was in school full time. So it was a lot going on. So I was just glad to be done in the end.
Yeah. Well, I want you to just kind of talk to us about your journey a little bit. So, you know, being your mom, I know what you were like as a kid. And so as a kid, you always seem to be kind of drawn to the sciences. And so like fifth grade, or what, tell me, I mean, by fifth grade, you really seem to be like starting on that science path. And I remember Dad kind of interviewing you in one of those family interviews and saying, what do you want to be? And you look like, I want to be a scientist when I grow up. So what back then made you want to be a scientist?
I really don't know. I just always loved nature. I loved animals. I loved just naturally. It wasn't something that I was trying to do.
Okay, so you just felt drawn to it.
Yeah, I always was drawn to science. I know a lot of the things that you guys exposed us to as far as like, you know, TV shows. I loved like Animal Planet, and any health show I saw, I was naturally just kind of drawn to it. I don't know, it's just something I always
Just liked.
Yeah.
And I think with a lot of people, they find themselves just, you know, they see something and then they're just drawn to doing that particular thing. And so we're talking to Dominique Bassetti, the designer, today, and I am Miss Bassetti, Lady D, coming to you to just talk about our designer of the family. And so I want for the audience to know, like, you've always been, every parent kind of knows the type of child they have. And so you've always been, of the three of you, the creative one. I mean, you know, when we're talking about what do you want to be when you grow up, of course you want to be Barney. That's very creative.
But you didn't say why.
Why did you want to be Barney?
Because he helped people.
There you go. Because he helped people. And then when you got a little bit more mature and we asked you what you wanted to be, then you matured to wanting to be Pocahontas.
She also helped people.
And then eventually you said, we were playing, I remember this one Christmas, we were playing games and you had one of those cash register things where people bought stuff and your eyes kind of lit up because you were running the cash register, and from that point on you said you wanted to own them all. So you always been kind of the different one in terms of, you know, what you wanted to be and what you wanted to do. And even when people were sick, we're the one creating the cards and making people's stuff to feel better and things like that. So I think you were always the creative one, but when did you start to feel creative? Can you recall any times in your life where you felt like you just wanted to make things or create things?
Well, it's been for as long as I could remember. Like, I remember, I think the furthest back that I can go to is when you said I wanted to own a mall, but I believe, no, I actually did.
Probably like 6 or 7.
No, I was gonna say back then, but then the first time that I actually like started realizing is when we were sewing, when you wanted all of us to sew, and then I was naturally just really good at it, and that's when I started sketching, and I used to get in trouble for school for sketching, and just always drawing and things like that. And then I would always draw pictures for like my teachers or my classmates.
We have back here a collection of a few things that you've done. And so I'd like for you to kind of walk us through like your inspiration of being creative, because like where does that come? A lot of people say, I want to do something, I don't know what I want to do. So can you just kind of walk us through, if you can pick up a few things and just talk about what inspired you for some of your things?
So today we're here. Again, I'm EJ Edge Bassette. We got Mario Rio Bassette. Okay, my son. So it's a pleasure in talking to you today, Mario. One of the things that we want to talk about is just being father and son. Growing up, a lot of kids. I remember when you were growing up, and a lot of kids don't have their dad at home. And I remember a funny story with you. You had a friend that moved into our neighborhood, and he would go visit. He would come, and then every summer he would come back, and his dad would have bought him shoes and stuff. And one day you came home, and you was like, "Why do I have to have both my parents at home?" You said, "So and so gets to go live with his dad, and every time he comes back, he gets new shoes. But look at, I gotta wear these." And I was like, "Man, one day you're gonna be glad that you had your father as part of your life." So now going back, that was about when you were 9 years old. Now you're in your 30s. What do you think about it now? Are you glad that I was there?
Yeah, of course I was glad now. I mean, back then it was just about having 2 Christmases.
What do you mean by 2 Christmases?
I mean, this is just like you were saying. All my friends, their parents were separated, so they would either spend one half of the holiday. Maybe they spend like New Year's Eve with their mom and New Year's Day with their dad, or vice versa. Or sometimes they'll get Christmas gifts on Christmas, but then they'll always get a second set of presents. Where I realized I was getting one, but I mean, overall, you all did a real good job of spoiling us and providing Christmas experiences.
So you remember those crazy?
You was building train sets and all of that.
Yeah, I did a lot of that stuff to give you what we had as kids in the 60s and the 70s, and now you guys were coming up in the 90s, basically, as kids for Christmas. So you remember all the videotaping and all that stuff I used to do with you guys?
Yeah.
Now you realize that you have a lot of footage of you as a kid. So tell me this, what do you see when you go back and look at footage of yourself as a little boy, like 5 years old?
I mean, kind of the same thing I see now, just as far as just being curious and asking a lot of questions. And
so you still that guy?
Yeah, I still ask a lot of questions. I still, search a lot, research a lot. About various topics, not just like one particular facet. I'm, kind of all over the place when it comes to learning stuff. Whatever I see, if I'm interested in it, I kind of dive in a little bit.
Now, this is one thing I've been wanting to ask you. Now, when you was a kid, you always wanted to make these things called pajamas. You remember that? And you wanted
Fireproof pajamas.
Yeah, fireproof pajamas.
Mm-hmm.
And you wanted to be an engineer, basically, as a little boy.
Mm-hmm.
You know? So tell the audience, what are you now? You know?
Well, I am an engineer. I mean, back then, I guess it was more or less an inventor is what I was, you know, just wanted to invent things, which essentially that's what engineering is inventing, making something better or making something that's never been made before.
Okay. Being curious and doing things. So these pajamas that you want to make, I reminded you, because I used to take you to speaking engagements all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And one time, there was this little girl who had been burned, like probably 90% of her body. And I brought the picture home of her, and it just disturbed you to see her. Her hair was burned off, her face was totally burned, her hands had been almost burned to the point where they would fuse together.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember you just being concerned about that and wanting to do something about it.
Mm-hmm.
And that always touched my heart that you had this capacity to want to do stuff for other kids that didn't have the things in their life that you had.
Mm-hmm.
So do you still think that personality is there? That same person that has the compassion to help other people?
Yeah, I definitely still think that I like to help other people. Throughout my professional career, I think I've done a great deal of that. It's probably not as, well, it is direct. I guess you can kind of like the, in a sense, sometimes the unsung hero of things. But yeah, I mean, overall, everything that I've been doing is to contribute to the community or help people in some sort of facet.
Right. Again, we're Raw Fitness Challengers. Raw Fitness in the house. There we go. And Raw Fitness is a virtual site. We're going to be on Instagram as well as Facebook, where you can join and put your workout in. And after you put your workout in, you simply will get encouraged by other people and other people that like to work out, and they can say that they like your workout and keep doing it. Mm-hmm. Come and join on Facebook or Instagram. All right. So I know a lot of people have questions. So our wife Donna and EJ, EJ and Donna, right? Because I said Donna. Did I say it right?
You did.
Okay. So we've been together how many years now? 1983 minus 2020 is 37 years.
Okay, I lose
So we've been
count.
together 37 years.
I lose count.
And the first thing people would want to know is, as far as working out, what's our love for working out? So you want to share your workout and what your love is?
Well, I've always just been an active child. I just love to run. I love to do double dutch. For those of you who don't know what that is, it's kind of spinning the rope, egg beater style, and one of the kids jump in the middle. So I've always done something, track, whatever. So, and I just always loved being active. When I was little, I would race the boys.
So you said two different things. You said you love being active, so that was young, and then you mentioned track.
Yes.
So where does track come into this whole thing?
I started track in 7th grade.
Okay.
So that was still pretty young.
Okay.
Yeah. And then I continued track all through high school.
Okay. And I always joke with her because she's one of the things that she did when we met. She took me to her high school in the south suburbs of Chicago, and she showed me her picture on the wall.
The wall of fame.
The wall of fame at her high school, which impressed me at that point because I'm not on the wall of anybody's fame. So, so congratulations again. You're on the wall, and that's part of your history and your legacy.
Yeah. We were first in conference.
Right.
For the 4x4.
Right.
Mm-hmm. So today, Nurse Dina and myself, Lady D, Bassetti, are going to talk to you a little bit about skincare. It's getting cooler, and so a lot of things that we do is actually damaging to our skin because we're washing our hands more due to cold and flu season, and also of course we've got the addition of coronavirus in 2020, and we're taking showers more. So we want to just talk to you a little bit to make your life a little easier for your skin.
So the first thing we want to talk about is the frequent hand washing. So of course, you know, with cold, flu, coronavirus, all of those things are transmitted mostly by things that we touch. People sneeze into their hands, touch surfaces, they pass on the bacteria because someone else touches the same surface, and then they might eat their food. So one of the big things you want to do is wash your hands frequently, but one of the side effects of that is dry, cracking hands. And especially for healthcare workers, I mean for everyone, I'm sure your hands are more dry if this is the time you're washing your hands more frequently, but healthcare workers are really getting slammed. Like, I come home from work and my hands literally have like cuts
those
and,
little minor,
cuts and
micro
slips.
cuts. Yeah.
So really good things to do would include emollients and moisturizers. My mom actually makes her own. She makes really good moisturizers. This is one. Can you tell everybody what's in there?
So in here, this is one. It has rose hip seed oil. It has a lot of oils that are for moisturizing. I actually put castor oil in here and olive oil. Those are very nice for the skin. Olive oil kind of thins out that thick shea butter, which is the base of it, but it smooths. It's very good for the skin. And then for scent, I'll also put things like orange, or if it's something that I want to keep me awake, I'll put rosemary oil in here as well, because that's a good alerter and it's good for your skin. And the other thing that I love to put in there is vitamin E, which is also one of the skin healers. And I'll put not rosemary, I'll put frankincense, and I will put myrrh in my skincare products as well. So